Bane was one of the most important red pills in the Matrix revolutions. He served as a vessel for Agent Smith, who escaped to the real world and caused much chaos. Smith's actions in the real world were not fully depicted in the film, but some clues point to the mayhem he wrought during his stay in Zion. Would you like to know what Smith did in the real world? Then welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
This case of deja vu is brought to you by Warner Brothers and their copyright claim on our original video. Thank you. Once upon a time, Smith infected everyone in the Matrix. He became a virus, capable of assimilating any program or machine connected to the simulation. Red pills are, by nature, part mechanical, allowing them to quickly learn new skills by directly downloading data into their brains. This was Smith's open door to the real world. Bane and another red pill were exiting the Matrix when Smith appeared and ambushed Bane. Smith infected Bane with his virus, replacing his consciousness and turning him into another Smith. Bane's assimilation was complete. Nothing was left of who he once was. You could say that Smith practically killed Bane. From then on, Smith was Bane, who would now fulfill his goals. The first thing Smith did with his new physical body was cut his hands. This is because as an agent, he had never experienced pain, but by assimilating the body of a human, he began to experience all human senses. Smith felt pain for the first time. He was curious, but soon his true goal was revealed: to kill Neo in the real world. Inside the Matrix, Smith couldn't kill Neo. The one was simply too powerful within the simulation, but in the real world, he was just another flesh and blood human. Smith does come close to stabbing Neo with a knife, but is interrupted by Kid, who is bringing something to Neo: a spoon. The kitchen utensil represents that the Matrix is not real. But there is a deeper meaning behind this scene. Recall that the person who told Neo about the spoon was a child who lived with the Oracle, and his nickname was the Spoon Boy. This little boy helped Neo understand that the Matrix can be manipulated. But why would the boy send a spoon to Neo in the real world? There are two possible reasons. Either it was a coincidence, or it was planned. If it wasn't for Kid bringing that spoon to Neo, Smith would have injured or even killed Neo. The spoon was probably sent by the child because he knew that Neo would be in danger. Maybe the Spoon Boy foresaw it. Or the child could have been following the orders of the Oracle, who knew that Smith would try to kill Neo in the real world. After all, the Oracle is the one who protects the young potentials, including the Spoon Boy, and it can't be ruled out the possibility that their actions are linked to her. Smith's first attempt on Neo's life had failed, but of course, he wasn't going to give up. The ship, the Cadisys, was dispatched to counterattack the Sentinels and Diggers that were burrowing towards Zion. However, Smith sabotaged their plan by activating the EMP bomb prematurely. The explosion affected all hovercrafts of the mission, causing the deaths of dozens of Resistance members and the failure of the mission. Bane was the only survivor, but he was left comatose. He was found by the Hammer crew and was placed in the infirmary, where Neo will soon be. Bane's body was in a coma because his mechanical implants were also affected by the EMP, causing his body to shut down. This is very interesting because it reveals a new detail about the red pills. The information that the red pills learn, including their consciousness, is probably stored in the mechanical sector of their brain. If they were exposed to an EMP in the real world, they could lose function. Perhaps the red pills have a type of internal memory where everything is stored, and this is where the Smith virus was housed inside Bane's body. But when Smith activated the EMP, his body was momentarily turned off. Upon awakening, Smith claimed that he remembered nothing.
I really wish I could help, I don't remember any of it.
He was lying, of course. He knew exactly what happened, and the crew was suspicious of him. The doctor of the Hammer was examining Smith when he attacked her.
Of course, it might not be very safe for you either.
Smith's goal was to sabotage Zion. He caused the death of dozens of people by activating the EMP, disabling their ships, and then he stowed away on board the hovercraft that Neo commandeers to travel to Machine City. Smith wanted to kill Neo before he could arrive at the source and save everybody. Smith's actions show that he simply wanted to destroy everything and everyone. He calls him Mr. Anderson after he takes Trinity hostage, revealing his identity. Smith wanted Neo to recognize him, and for him to realize that he was not safe from him, even in the real world.
I see you are as predictable in this world as you are in the other.
What?
He's out of his mind.
It might appear that way to you, but Mr. Anderson and I know that appearances can be deceiving.
Smith once believed that Thomas Anderson was just another civilian who was no match for the agents. He was a weak human whom they let Morpheus recruit, an insignificant man that Smith enjoyed killing, but doing so resulted in the manifestation of the anomaly. The fact is that Smith underestimated Thomas Anderson, a mistake that resulted in his destruction. Smith will not make the same mistake again. He no longer underestimates Neo. Neo knew that appearances could be deceiving. Let's not forget that the Matrix Neo lived in appeared real, but it was just a simulation. Smith continues to throw hints at his true identity. We can see on Neo's face that he somewhat suspects who it is, but refuses to accept it.
Somehow familiar, isn't it? We've been here before, you and I, remember? I do. I think of nothing else.
Smith is referring to the first Matrix when he shot Neo. Here is where Neo finally accepts who he's dealing with, but still needs confirmation. How do we know this? Well, Neo knew who Bane was. He was a member of the Resistance. They had strategy meetings together. They probably went on missions together. Neo knew who Bane was, and the person who was now in front of him was not Bane.
I admit it is difficult to even think encased in this rotting piece of meat. The stink of it filling every breath, a suffocating cloud you can't escape.
Neo, in disbelief, now knows for a fact that it was Smith. After their one-on-one fight on the ship, Neo was left permanently blinded when Smith shoved an electric cable in his face. Yet somehow, Neo gained new sight. He could see Smith himself in golden code, another reference to the original film when Smith killed Neo. After Neo resurrected, he saw the Matrix in code. This scene could have been used to confirm that the real world was also part of the simulation, though it could also mean that Neo was able to see the Smith virus thanks to his mechanical implants. Neo was still connected to the Matrix in the real world, thanks to some unknown wireless connection that linked him to the Matrix. Neo bashes Bane's skull, and that was the end of Smith's odyssey in the real world. Or was it? Just as Smith was able to infect Bane's body, he could have done the same to another Red Pill. Smith did return in the Matrix Resurrections, but with a new, younger look. Yet the theory that a part of the Smith's virus still exists in the outside world still stands. Maybe in the future, there can be multiple Smiths roaming the simulation and the real world once again. While we still don't have any updates on Matrix 5, the producers would likely prefer to bring back as many legacy actors, like Hugo Weaving, for the upcoming sequel. That is, if it is indeed a sequel. Smith's story is far from over, but do you agree? Is the Smith virus still alive inside the body of another human? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.